Alright, Gamer Bears, it is time for a new addition to unused content and games, and today we have a pretty short one. That being Super Mario Land. Now that the playthrough's been out of the way for quite some time, I think we should do this real quick. So, let us begin with this little blurb over here, but before we truly begin, I do gaming content like this all the time. If that's your type of thing, please consider subscribing to the channel for free, and you can always change your mind later on. Anyway, starting with Super Mario Land is the first portable game in the Mario series. As well as that time Mario cheated on Princess Peach with Daisy. First of all, it isn't really cheating, they never really officially dated. Secondly, Peach already friend-zoned Mario, even back then. Like, I wouldn't say this is really cheating, but let's not go too far into that. Anyway, continuing. Unused graphics. Alright, sprites. This sprite, which is reminiscent of the one used for Fiery Mario shooting fireballs in Super Mario Bros. This one is unused as the game will not change Mario's sprite when he shoots the the ball projectile. Here's a closer look at the sprite. Also kind of looks like he's shooting a basketball. Alright, tiles. On the title screen, this graphic tile for the top left corner of the sign is unused. The game uses an identical tile but with a bolt on it. See the screenshot on the right for reference. Alright, and here's a closer look at this one. You have a little bolt over there. You can't really see that there, so let's keep this zoomed in one over here. Alright, this unused tile appears in the tile set used for World 1. It is unknown what was going to be used for. Closer look. Alright, maybe I'll stop doing that if it's going to keep zooming out like that. Alright, on World 1-3, the game uses black outline tiles for the brick walls, but only for the ceiling and left and right walls. The game isn't given outline tiles since the graphic tile for the brick wall is already outlined at the top. The above tile is unused as a result. It doesn't exist a bottom right corner outline tile or a cornerless ground outline tile. This unused tile appears in the tile set of World 2. And looks related to the wall graphics used in 1-3. Alright, here's a closer look at these. This one's kind of just an L. Giving you the L, anyways. And a closer look at this one. Kind of looks like a rock, maybe, or some weird cookie. Obviously, that wasn't, like, according to this blurb, that obviously isn't what that was supposed to be, but still. Another unused tile from World 2's tile sets. Due to being aligned close to the UFO's graphics, it might be related to the UFO beams at the beginning of World 2-1 and 2-2. Yet another unused tile from World 2's tiles set. It isn't known what it was going to be used for. Alright, closer look at those lines. Probably just some beams, as I mentioned. And this kind of looks like a cave entrance or some sort of door opening. Probably not what it was going to be, but still. There are unused graphics for a right-facing pipe, present in each world's tile set. These unused tiles are also present in the graphics in each world. It isn't known what they were going to be used for. And these symbols are not used throughout the entire game. Alright, let's have a closer look at this. Next up, these. This one kind of looks like an early falling platform, I guess, but turned to 90 degrees. In which direction? I don't know. And whatever this may have been, some other platform, not entirely sure. Alright, here's F. Everybody put F in the chat. And a comma of some sort. Maybe for an unused sentence that wasn't put into the game, whatever. And here is a version with those unused assets on the title screen. Yeah, Mario's raising his fist to something, I don't know what. Alright, unused objects, unused power-ups. There is what appears to be a level skip item that was cut from the game. It uses the same sprite as a falling platform and starts out still standing with ID 4C. When Mario is on it, it changes to 4D and moves up 13 blocks. When it changes to 4E, making it move to the right and 2 pixels per frame, essentially allowing the player to skip the rest of the level. Alright, that was likely just used for testing purposes, but here's what it would have looked like. And it's a mushroom. Maybe it could have been used as some sort of secret, nice little reward for finding it. Alright, this looks like an early version of 4-3. The final level of the game. Not gonna lie, kind of staring at the screen scrolling like that hurts my eyes a bit. Apologize if that hurts any of your eyes. And Mario doesn't even come crashing down after that. Okay. Alright, in addition to the above, with other unused objects, the game never spawns object ID 26. It isn't known what this ID might have been for. Alright, a Nokobon / Bombshell Koopa is placed right above a pit in World 3-2. If you're quick enough, you can just barely see it as it falls to its doom. Alright, and falling platforms inside the ground. Now let's look at these images. There's 2 of them. And this weird looking spider enemy. Alright, you see that Bombshell Koopa sitting right over there. Alright, we got a few images over here. Well, 4 images, but they're the 2 of them are conjoined to the other. In different spots wherever Mario happens to be. Or actually, it's not different spots. I guess it's just one background is with all the assets on it, and the other one was only some of the assets. Alright, and I guess those falling platforms being there too. Maybe maybe instead they kind of forgot to remove those in the game's code, but then put these blocks here instead afterwards when they changed their mind on what they wanted to do for the level design. But anyways, unused hidden blocks. The game reserves a tile in each 2 places in World 3-3 for a hidden block, but it cannot be triggered by normal means. And here's what that looks like. Alright, unused music. The ladder climbing track from the bonus game runs almost 8 seconds, but only the first 2 are heard normally. This might suggest the track once had a different purpose. To listen to the full track, edit address with these codes here, or use the below game GD code to play the track in World 1-1, these codes over here. Here's what it would have sounded like. Alright, next up, revisional differences. The audio, all of the music was remixed in a Rev 1 to change the way the soundtrack utilized the Game Boy's stereo and support, among stereo sound support, among other changes. The Death Jingle had a noise percussion track added, as did the Goal Fanfare, and the autoscore theme has this percussion changed from alternating between both channels to staying in the center of the sound stage. Almost unnoticeable, in some tracks the first percussion sound was moved from the center to the right channel. Alright, here's what this sounds like. Alright, now this track. And the first revision. Alright, next up, the Sarasa Land theme, cave theme, and credits. Popping was removed from some tracks, particularly noticeable in the intro of the Chai Kingdom theme, and the track that plays when you rescue Daisy at the end of the game. Alright, Chai Kingdom theme. Oh, Daisy! And audio IDs afterward, but here's what they sound like. Alright, audio IDs. Rev 0 will accept invalid audio IDs and attempt to play glitched soundtracks. Rev 1 doesn't play invalid IDs at all. Or Revision 1. a screen warp around glitch. In Rev Zero, there is a glitch that allows Mario to warp around the screen on auto-scrolling levels by holding left while he is getting pushed off screen. This was fixed in a revision number 1. And well, that's all the content for Super Mario Land that I can find that went unused. If you all enjoyed this edition of Unused Content Games and you want to see more, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And consider answering the question of the day as usual of all the unused content that we went through today. Which would you like to see in the final game and why? I guess this unused fire throwing sprite for Mario instead of the flower ball that we actually have in game, which that one's fine, but it would have been cool if maybe 1 or 2 levels were designed around the fire flower as well. And maybe make the fire flower look a little different from that bounce ball flower. But anyways, that'll be it for this edition of Unused Content and Games. See you in the next video on this, not on this specific game, of course, but on Unused Content and Games. Thank you all for watching, and have a terrific day.